Let's take a look at layout number 2. You will see in the workshop guide here this heart background paper on the right side and the solid black on the left side. I decided to put a white border around my heart patterned paper here. I felt that it was a little busy and my eye was going to the busy paper versus the photos being the focal point. So you will see here that I have a white border which draws your eyes to your photos, whereas here, at least for me, my eyes are drawn to all that paper. And I thought that because I put that white border on the right side, that we should carry it over onto the left side, and that way it makes the pages more uniform. Let's take a look at the right side of layout 2. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Versamat. I'm going to set our example off to the side here. Just adjust things a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is you should already have your heart paper cut, right? So that it's going to fit right in the center there. If you were in some of my previous creative design studios, you will see a trick that you will already know, the trick that I'm about to share with you. I just love this close to my heart adhesive. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I'm absolutely loving it. Okay, so I'm going to take this paper, and I know that it is square, right? See the X on your Versamat? If I line the corners of my paper up with that X, as long as I've cut my paper correctly, which I have, you'll notice that all of my corners match on that X, right? So now when I take my cardstock, I can carefully set it down over this, lining it up to the edges of my 12 by 12 grid. So now we have this paper centered on our cardstock, okay? Next, we're going to take our black paint patterned paper and we're going to line it up on our square. So see, whoops, I got this one lined up, or on our X. You see I got this corner lined up, but the rest of them aren't. So you want to make sure that all of your corners are lined up on that X, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing that you did before, and you're going to line this one up to your corners at your 12 by 12. Okay. And then we have our paper perfectly centered. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to do is take our glitter paper and add our cardstock, our white cardstock, to 3 of the glitter papers. Okay. And we are going to add these here. Just like that. Okay. And then you should also have these 2 white strips, which will be used for journaling, and you'll cut those to go here. I chose not to cut mine until I did my journaling, but that's what these ones are for. So when you do your embellishments here, you want to make sure that you save the room for your journaling. Okay, or you could even add another picture spot here and with the flip flaps put your journaling inside, right? All right, so now we have this. We want to make sure that we were able to tuck our little hello up under there. So we have our stickers that we've already used our liquid glass. Look at how pretty those turned out. Look at that shine. I did unfortunately get a little bubble there. I wasn't able to get out before it hardened, but that's okay. But the liquid glass, you can see how beautiful that looks and how nice they all are. If you get bubbles, if you can get them out before it starts to harden, the better. But that one got away from me, unfortunately, and it dried before I was able to. Look at that skateboard. Look at how beautiful that is with that shine. Okay, enough playing with our liquid glass stickers. We're going to take our hello, and this one is going to tuck up under here. Like, and then we have some heart stickers. There's a blue heart, a yellow heart, and a pink heart, which I did all with 3D foam tape. Our foam comes in a number of different ways. First, there are the 3D foam dots that are a little bit thicker. Then there are the thinner 3D foam dots. There is the thin and the thick. So this is the thin. Okay, it has 2 different sizes, but the dimension is thin, right? And then we have a thicker one also. And another thing that I love is that when Close to My Heart designed our shaker foam and acetate, they put foam dots in the center of the shaker rings, right? So you can use this as well. When I am creating projects, I like to use a combination of both the thin and the regular so that I have different levels of dimension, right? So it doesn't matter typically if you use the tape or the dots, but I like to use a combination of both the thick and the thin, giving myself that different dimension, okay? All right, so now we're gonna look for our little hearts. So we have this one, and we have a yellow one, and a pink one. Oops, don't tear it, Val. All right, so we have these 3 stickers, and I'm also going to use our anti-static pouch to remove the sticky from the back so that when I put my 3D foam dot on the back, that it's not sticking to my layout around that dot, right? I keep my anti-static pouch in a little craft jar, and I have a little binder clip on it so that way I don't get the powder all over my fingers. Might get it the first time you're pulling it out of the jar, but when I'm crafting for the day, I keep it sitting like this so I'm ready to use it without having to touch it with my fingers. I'm going to move this out of the way because I don't want to get powder. Normally I would do it off to the side, but I want to be able to show you what I'm doing and I don't want to get powder on my layout. Okay, so I'm going to start with this little guy, and I'm literally just going to tap my anti-static pouch. You can probably see some of that powder falling. This is going to remove the sticky from the sticker so that my foam dot or my 3D foam tape is going to be what is sticking to my layout, not the sticker around where my dot is, right? And normally I would do this off to the side of my table, but I want to be able to show you what I'm doing here. Okay, and then our last little one here. I use this for embossing. You know, when you're embossing, the powder might get staticky and stick where you don't want it to stick, and once you heat it, you can't remove it, right? So using the Embossing Buddy or the anti-static pouch removes the static so that your powder is sticking where you want it to stick. It's also used to remove the sticky from our stickers so that our foam tape will be the only thing that is sticking to our layout versus distorting the look of our image when it tries to stick Willy Wonka to our page, right? The other thing is that it's great for when you're making shaker cards. Do you ever notice that when you make a shaker card and your pieces, your shaker pieces, stick to the acetate versus sticking in your card and shaking, right? That's because of the static that is in there. So if you run the Embossing Buddy over that before you create your shaker, you will remove that static, right? And your pieces will stay where you want them to. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of our small foam dots here, and I'm going to put them on the back of my heart. And this one is going to go right up here. Okay, so this one will go here. The other thing that I do when I'm layering stickers, so I already have foam tape under this one, and these stickers are going to slightly overlap, so I don't need to add more foam on the back of this side. I want to add it only on the back of this side. Okay, so then that way, when I put this down, it's going to be even, right, versus sticking up even higher on that side. Okay, the next thing is we have one of our little bird die cuts. And here's our die cuts that we did all of our liquid glass on and shimmer brush. Look at how pretty. All right, so this little bird is going to go right in here. Right in the center. I did put some foam tape behind that one there. And then we have a Relax, which is a sticker. And again, I am going to use the anti-static pouch on the back to remove the sticky, and I'm going to do it off to the side here so I'm not getting it all over my table. Okay, and then I am going to add a little bit of dimension behind this one. I did use the thinner on this one, so it wasn't as raised as some of the other things. Okay, and I'm just going to peel these little pieces off, little backings. And this one is going to go down here. Okay, and then we have two little stickers or die cuts. I think they're stickers. There's a green star and a pink star. And then we're going to have two of our little pieces. The blue stars come in here. And for these, you'll want to use either a glue dot, some liquid glass. See, there's 3 of them. I can get them out. Okay. And then there's a little sticker down here that says nope. And again, I'm going to remove the sticky. And for this, I want to use the thin. And I'm only going to peel the backing off of one side. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a moment. Okay, so see how, oops, I got it stuck on my finger. Okay, see how I've taken, camera focus. Okay, I've taken the little backing off of this one, but I haven't on this one because I want to be able to still add a picture under here. So it's gonna stick carefully with just this one piece side over here. And then when I add my picture, I'll be able to remove the other side of that, okay? And make sure you're saving room to be able to add in your journaling. All right, so there we have the right side of layout 2 complete, aside from our flip flaps, which we will do once we put it in our page protector. The next thing that we are going to do with the right side of layout 2 is to add our flip flaps. So you will want to have your page protector and your 3x3 flip flaps. We're going to go ahead and put our layout in the page protector. You want to make sure that your layout is seated all the way down into the page protector. The reason for this is that if you had it slightly off, like that, and then applied your flip flaps, at some point this layout is going to work its way the rest of the way down into the page protector, and then your flip flaps won't line up. So be sure that you have your layout seated all the way to the bottom of your page protector. We are going to use 3 flip flaps on this layout. You'll want to take either your photo or your place card holder and put it into the flip flap, also making sure that it is seated all the way down into the flip flap. Just like we did with the page protector, if we don't seat that all the way down, your photo may shift at a later time and then it won't line up correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all 3 of these. You can also put PML cards into your flip flaps. That is super cute too, a great way to add more journaling, to tell your story. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put these in. So I have all 3 of these. And the great thing about flip flaps is that they adhere to the outside of any page protector, and they are super easy. You just peel this strip, I'm going to carefully fold this down, and then I'm going to line this photo or place card holder up with my other photo, and there's a place card holder on top of that white, so it makes it a little hard to see. I'm going to try not to get my head in the camera, but please forgive me if I do. So I want to make sure that I have it lined up correctly. Okay, so there is our first one. Okay. And with a photo here versus this white place card holder, it would be a lot easier to line this up because I'm trying to look through the camera and line it up, and it's white on white. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and line this one up. Okay, so there we have two flip flaps there. And to this one, I did it this way in my sample, but I actually think I'm going to turn it around so that it will go down on this one. So you can do yours however you want it, but I'm actually going to put this one so it folds out this way. So I have those ones up and this one down. Okay, so I peeled off that little staticky piece there. And I'm going to line this up. And there we have our flip flaps for the right side of layout number 2. The left side of layout number 2 has some really fun techniques in it. So I have brought in our all-purpose mat, and we are going to go ahead and pop these die cuts out here out of this pie here, all these little pie pieces. Okay, so now we have, there's a couple of them that were bigger, and so I need to look at those first. So these ones are all the same size, or colors. And then out of the white ones, you will notice that there are 2 that are bigger, okay? Okay, your 2 bigger ones are going to be your black, and we are going to create this inking look that we see here, okay? So the way that we do that, so I'm going to go ahead and set those out of the side, off to the side. Our larger ones are going to be the black, and I'm going to do those at the end. We're going to start with the yellow. So I've gathered my inks. We have Capri, Lemonade, Nectarine, and Intense Black. So we're going to start with our Lemonade. I took the little baggie. You can use any baggie, or you can use a piece of acetate, but I took the little baggie that these shapes came in, the acrylic shapes. So I'm just going to put the acrylic shapes in the lid of my craft jar here and set those aside. And then I'm going to use this for our technique. And you can do this on a piece of scrap paper first if you'd like to just try to get the feel, because I did notice that holding the bag a different way, or so if you hold the bag like that versus doing like this, it's going to look different. So I tried to do it like this first, And I'll be honest, it didn't look random. It looked like fingerprints down on the paper. So what I did was I took the bag and I just kind of scrunched it like that. Okay. And I'm going to put a little bit of the ink down here on my mat. And we're going to take one of these. Oh, not that one because that's got the color on it. Make sure it's one of your white ones. I'm going to put it in the ink and I'm just going to tap it. Try not to shake the camera too much. Sorry. Okay, so I just tapped it on here until I had the desired amount of ink that I wanted on it. So hopefully you can see that okay. Look at how fun that is. So this is just using a plastic bag to create that fun technique. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and set that one aside because it's done. I took a damp paper towel and wiped my ink off of my baggie so that I could reuse it a few times. And then I wiped up because everything on this all-purpose mat just wipes up so easily, right? See all of the yellow. Okay, so we're going to make sure that's all cleaned up. Okay, and then next we are going to do the nectarine. So we'll go ahead and put our lemonade back. And we're going to do the same thing with the nectarine. I'm going to put a little bit on here. Ooh, that was a lot, wasn't it? That's all right. And I'm going to take my little baggie. And I'm going to scrunch it up a little bit on the end. Try not to shake the camera. I'm sorry. Okay, so as little or as much as you want. Okay, so there is our nectarine. Go ahead and set that one aside and clean up my little baggie. And clean up this here. This all-purpose mat makes it so nice because everything just cleans right up. Next, we're going to do the blue, the Capri. This technique is also fun with bubble wrap. You can get a different look, right? And different sizes and shapes of bubble wrap create different looks. Creates kind of like a honeycomb look with a piece of bubble wrap. Okay, there we go. We have our Capri one done. We're going to set that one aside. Okay. And now we're going to do our two larger black ones. So again, I'm just scrunching it up. No two are alike because you can make it different. The way you hold it there is different each time, right? Okay, so there is our black one. And we're going to do one more black one. And I see I'm getting it into the back there, but that's all right because it is going to be the back, so it won't matter. So who has done this before? Is this a new technique for you? I'd love to hear. Comment below and let us know if this is a new technique you're learning for the first time or if you have used this before. Okay, so there is the black. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this up again. Again, even with that intense black ink, it wipes right up on the all-purpose mat. And this time I am coming in with another one just to make sure we're good and dry and clean. Okay, so now we are done with this for now, so I'm going to move it out of the way because otherwise it creates a glare on the camera. Okay, and here is our sample. Put that off to the side, move our inks up. And now we are ready to start assembling the left side of layout number 2. Okay, so we're going to grab our Versamat. Okay, so we cut this piece here 11 and a half by 11 and a half. I have the hardest time lining things up lately, and I'm not real sure why. So anytime that I can learn a new tip or trick to help me line things up, I am excited about that, and I want to share that with you as well. See this big X in the middle, right? So when you have pieces that are square that you want to line up, or layer, I should say, that you want to layer and have centered, if you take your top piece and lay it down on your Versamat and line the corners up with the X on your Versamat. So I'm going to bring this up so that you can see. Okay, so I showed you the X, right? And so here is just the corner of that X. And you see the corner of my paper is lined up to meet that X, right? And you see the same thing over here. And if my paper is cut correctly, as it should be, it will line up on all 4 corners of the X. Right? I adjusted my camera and now it's like not in the right spot. Okay, so now we are going to take some adhesive and we're going to put our adhesive on the back of this piece of paper. Okay, so I've got my adhesive here. Now we're going to take our next layer, which in this case is our 12 by 12 base piece, and we are going to line that up all the way to the edge of our 12 by 12 mat. Okay, so carefully, because you don't want to set it down until you have it straight and lined up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that down like that. And I'll tell you, when you do this the first few times, it will feel awkward. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more layers you have in your layout, the easier it is. So the smaller the pieces are, the bigger the difference between your 2 sizes, the easier. So here we have our heart paper completely center here, right? So now this piece is going to go over the top here. Okay. And this one you could do the same way, but I actually found that it was easier just to line this one up and to match this piece here. because it's going right on top of that other one. I don't have to center it. I am just putting it over the top of the next one. So I am going to go ahead and put my adhesive on there. Make sure your hearts are going in the right direction. And I'm going to go ahead and line this one up right over the top to the edge of that one. And I look like I got a little crooked. There we go. Okay, so there, now we have that one. Okay, so the next thing that I did was I laid out these pieces here. So I just eyed them, okay? So our orange one and our red one go about like that. And then our yellow one and our yellow one and our green one and our blue one. Now, there is a larger space here. I may adjust these just a little bit, but I want to point out that there is a larger gap right there. If you look closely, you will see it on my side here, that sticker fills in, and you really don't notice that wider gap here than over here until I point it out. I spent a lot of time when I was doing these trying to make the spaces all match up. And honestly, they just don't, okay? Let me show you here. Look at the gap here compared to the gap over here. So they do not have the exact distance between all of them. You can play with them and do them however you would like to do them, but I just did what looked good and made the most sense for me. Take a look. I'm going to try not to get my head in the way. The other thing that I did was lay this piece down here in the middle, which this piece is going to be 2 3/4 from the top and 3 3/4 from your left side. Okay, so I did lay that one there to try to get a idea of where I wanted the rest of them to go. So I just said 2 3/4 down. So we have 1, 2, 3 3/4. 1, 2, 3 3/4. Okay, so about there. And then it's 3 3/4 over. 1, 2, 3 3/4. So yep, it's going to go right about there. Okay, and then I brought in my other pieces. So our orange one is going to go behind our orange one. Okay, so this is going to come in a little bit. Okay, and this one's going to come up a little bit. This one's going to come up a little bit. So I am trying to keep circular motion, circular around the outside, keeping them matched that way. I can't pick it up. Okay, so we're staying, oops. Okay, and then one of our black pieces is going to get tucked in behind here. So I'm just trying to hold all these in place. Okay, so this one's going to stick out farther. So you notice that our green and our yellow are going to match up, but this one's going to stick out further. So our green and our yellow, so here we're creating this circle, but this green one and blue one and black one over here are going to stick out a little bit further. Okay. And then this one is going to come over a little bit more. And there's going to be a black one over here. Okay. So I'm keeping my red and my blue and my green kind of even there. And then this blue one is going to tuck in here. Okay, and I'm deciding that I don't like that one quite right. Okay, so once I got these all to where I wanted them, I did a little bit of adhesive to help hold them so they wouldn't move. And I think that's about how we're going to do it. I feel like my gap here should be a little bit smaller. Okay, so I'm looking at the outer circle here to see if all of these match the way that I want them. And I've decided that I think that they are all good. Once I get the other stickers and things on there, it will fill it in anyway. So I'm looking at my circle there and I'm deciding that they're all pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is just hold this here in place a little bit, and I'm going to carefully stick a little bit of adhesive under these corners. I'm having the toughest time picking these up. Okay, so just a little bit of adhesive. It's just going to hold it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way and make sure that everything is the way that I want it. Okay, and then I'm just going to start adhering these down. Now, you don't have to put a lot of adhesive on these because you're going to have this, which is going to hold them all down anyways, and then it's going to be in a page protector. But I also want to make sure that they're not going to flap around and that they're going to last forever, right? The other thing, another trick is that you can use press and seal if you're working on a project and you have it laid out the way that you want it and you have to pick things up to put adhesive on the back, you can pick it up with press and seal, put your adhesive on the back, and then lay it all back down, and it will be right back where you picked it up from. Just another little trick. Okay, so now that I have all of those adhered, we're going to go back to our orange and yellow. Oops, I'm going to put a little bit more here. Definitely make sure your outer edges are sealed down good, because those will be out. Oops, and I got a little adhesive there. I can just rub it back out. Okay. And just that little bit of heart paper in the background is going to tie our right side to the left side, as well as this white border. The next thing is I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to make sure I have this piece where it's supposed to go. So remember, we said 2 3/4 down. I'm going to put my adhesive on the back here. And you could put foam tape behind this piece as well. Okay, so we're going to go 2 3/4 down. So we're going to make sure we're straight on our Versamat. We're going to go 1, 2 3/4. And I'm going to put my ruler right there at that. Now we're going to go the 3 3/4, which is right here. 3 3/4. Okay, and then we put that piece down. Photo place card holder. You do not have to put these photo place card holders down. This is really just where your photo is going to be. Now I tack them down there for mine because I want to show in my video where the photo is going to be. And then sometimes I leave them there, or sometimes I take them out. That's why I didn't put a lot of adhesive on the back of it. And sometimes I cut my photo down a little bit more so that it would be the black layer, the white layer, and then my photo. It's whatever works best for you. All right, so now we are going to start adding in our little stickers and things. And I'm just going to set these here while we lay them out to see how we want them. Okay, and then the green one, and you notice that they kind of coordinate with their colors. So now I'm going to take my anti-static pouch and I'm going to remove the sticky from my sticker because I want my sticker to have dimension behind it. And if I put dimension with my sticker still sticky, say that several times fast, my sticker will stick to my layout around the foam tape. So it'll make it kind of Willy Wonka, right? Also going to remove the sticky from this cassette. And I am going to do that off to the side here. There's a blue arrow, which is right here, one of the stickers, and I'm going to remove the sticky from that. For our green smiley face, right here, we're going to remove the sticky from that as well. And the happy here with you. And this one is so fun with that liquid glass there in the center. Now that we have removed all of the sticky from our stickers, we are ready to start assembling this layout with all the pieces as you see here in our sample. Also, our sticker placement is very similar to our stickers here in the Workshop Your Way. Aside from cutting the paper down, the only other thing that I did here was add in this black glitter paper. Because we had black glitter paper on our right side, and we want these two pieces to be very obvious that they go together and you want them to kind of flow together nicely, right? So that white border around both sides ties them together. Our heart paper here, as well as I added just a touch of glitter paper down here at the bottom to mimic the glitter that we have on this side, right? We don't want one side to have all the bling and the other side to not have any, right? So we want to share the love. All right, I have grabbed my scissors so that we can banner this piece here. Okay, so I have this piece here. It's a little bit longer than it needs to be, so we'll trim it down. Okay. These scissors here are non-stick close to my heart scissors. They are super nice for detailed cutting because they have a very sharp point, as well as the non-stick coating, so cutting stickers and things like that, or glue dots, foam tape, the adhesive won't stick to the non-stick scissors. Okay, so when I do a banner, I take my scissors and I cut a little slit. My camera doesn't want to focus. I cut a little slit there, and then I'm going to meet it on the ends. Okay, so there we have our banner. I have a little all-purpose mat that I've cut that I like to stick just under the edge of my paper here. Hopefully you can see that okay. And I use that when I put adhesive so that I don't get adhesive on my table or adhesive on my paper. The adhesive here will just wipe right off the all-purpose mat. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this piece down. And this piece is just going to tuck right up to the edge here. If you put this on foam tape, then you could just tuck this under a little bit. Since I didn't put it on foam tape, I'm just butting it up to the edge there, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of lay these out how I intend to do them. There's a little arrow which comes from our acrylic shapes. There's a star here at the corner, like that. There's a little sticker here that says Young and Free, which comes from here. And I'm going to go ahead and put that one here. Young and Free. This one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. This one's going to go over here. My tennis shoe's going to go here. This one's going to go here. And so do you see what I mean about this space here? Once you put this big sticker there, it looks like it was just all meant to be. Our cassette tape is going to go right here. And then there's some circles. These 3 circles are going to go over here. 1, 2, and 3. And there's a little heart right there. That's a sticker. And that heart, we did not remove the sticky from it. Right here. And this one's going to go right there, so we can just go ahead and stick that one down. All right, so there I think we have all of our pieces. So now we can just go ahead and start adding our foam tape behind our pieces. This one here. Okay, so when I do this one, I want to be careful because I am going to overlap this onto my photo mat. So I am not going to remove my sticky from this part of it until I have my photo in there. So I'm only going to remove the bottom part so that I can still get a photo under there when I'm ready to put my photo down. These little acrylic shapes, you should use liquid glass or glue dots. Okay, so you may have heard me just a few moments ago putting adhesive with the tape runner on my acrylic shape, and I actually broke it. I pieced it together just fine. I don't think anyone will notice. Nobody will know except for all of you watching and myself. So it really is best to use liquid glass or your glue dots on your acrylic shape so that you don't break them like I did. And another little trick I want to show you about my glue dots is that I keep a little string here. One, it holds this from unraveling, right? But two, my next glue dot is always right underneath where my string is. So I always know where my next glue dot is and I'm ready to use it, right? So a little tip, keeping a little string on your glue dots. All right, so now that we've fixed that little disaster, I am going to go ahead and finish putting this layout together. We are actually almost finished here. So we are going to go ahead and put some 3D foam tape on the back of our star. I love that these non-stick scissors, nothing sticks to them, so you can cut adhesive backed things and it won't stick. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that there. I've got it up here so I can still get my photo under there. Next we have this little circle smile, and I'm going to go ahead and just use one of these circles for there. Okay, and this one's going to go right about there. Next we have a green arrow. Just working my way around my layout here. Okay, and this one is not going to cover my photo area, so I can peel the backing off of this. And this one's going to go right here, like that. Okay, so we got this one stuck already, or no? Nope. Okay, so we're going to put a little foam tape behind this one, and I'm going to use the smaller width on this one. Just cut a little piece there. You want to be careful with these scissors because they are very sharp. Peel that back, and this one's going to go right about here like this. And our shoe. I guess I thought that was my husband's shoe. I made an awfully big piece, didn't I? All right, we'll just save this over here for my next piece. Okay, and this one is going to slightly go over my photo, so I made sure that my adhesive is not on my photo. I decided I'm going to move these up a little bit. See if I can move it up just a tad. There we go. I did a lot of walking this past weekend with Juno when we went camping, so I certainly could put camping pictures in all our walking. We walked, Juno and I think from Friday to Monday, we walked 7 miles. I know that might not be a lot for some of you, but it was for us. I was doing pretty good at walking a few miles every day, and I haven't been so good. And my dog Juno, I noticed that she's aging some on me. My poor puppy dog, she's 10 now, and what used to be a real easy walk for her was a little bit more challenging this past Memorial weekend, so it made me sad. All right, so on this part right here is going to cover over our photo. So I'm going to run my adhesive this way, and I'm not going to peel the backing off of this side over here, okay? So I'm using the wider tape, and I'm going to put this one here. I'm not going to peel that one. I don't want it to be wrinkly, so I'm going to put 3 on there. And then I'm going to decide how much it's going to overlap. So I'm not going to pull this one, but I am going to pull these 2. And I think I'm going to put a little piece up here as well. Oops, I stuck my finger to it. The bloopers, you know, we bring you some comedy too along the way, right? Okay, so we'll take this one. All right, so now this one here, and I'm gonna move these guys out of the way, and I want it to be like that. Okay, so I can still get my picture underneath there. Okay. Now these ones, I don't think that they would break if I used my tape runner, but in all honesty, using liquid glass or your glue dots is really a better option. And actually, I'm gonna wait to put this one down now that I get it stuck to my finger. Set that one down for a minute because I want to put these ones first. Okay, so for these ones, I'm using the smaller glue dots, and when I picked it up, I just folded it down over the edge. Okay, so we're going to put this one right here. So I'm going to pick it up, and then I'm just folding it over onto itself so it doesn't hang over the edge. I'm going to put this one here. Okay. All right, and then this one that I put the glue dot on earlier, I'm just going to stick in there like that. All right, my friends, we have this side of our layout complete. Look at how fun that is.